speaking about Swami's way of teaching, I remember that there were various phases and various methods by which Swami would teach. Sometimes the teaching would be direct. He would speak to you about it, or he would correct some conduct or some articulation or whatever. But there were also phases when he would totally ignore you. And Swami's ignoring used to be so total, so perfect. Just as much as intense as it was to be noticed by him. When he noticed you, when he spoke to you, it was as if you alone existed in the whole world for him. The rest of the world was kind of cut off. Similarly, when he wanted to ignore you too, you alone did not exist in the whole world. That is how Swami would treat you. There were a number of occasions when I too had this kind of, I would call it as Dakshinamurti treatment. By his silence he would teach. There would be radio silence. I remember I had joined Brindavan College as a lecturer in 1981. I don't know if in any of the Parayanams I mentioned this, but as soon as I finished my MSc, my exams got over only in October, and I was very excited because I told myself there would be 6 months at least, or maybe 8 months of no academic activity, and I could fully concentrate on Swami. I would be there for darshan. I would be there in the morning or in the evening, sitting in the portico, and I would enjoy Swami's presence. After thinking like this, I just relaxed, switched on the fan and lay down on the ground, enjoyed my vacation, at least initiation of the vacation for the next 8 months. Good thing I did that, because when I went for darshan that evening, Swami just looked at me and asked, "What have you done?" I told Swami that, "Swami, I have just," stress on the word just, "written the MSc exam, Swami." Swami said, "Oh, okay, come with me." He took me into the interview room, and he started writing a letter. He said, "I'll give you a letter. You can give it to the principal and the warden and join the institute." Now, I was very surprised because Swami had all along told me that he would keep me in Prashanti Nilayam. And so I was wondering, this was in Prashanti Nilayam, Swami was talking to me. So why would Swami give a letter when the principal and the warden would be coming for darshan every evening? Swami could as well tell them. But Swami kept writing, and in between he just looked at me and said, "Where do you think I am going to put you?" I said, "Swami, I don't know." He said, "I'm going to put you in Bangalore, in Vrindavan," he said. "Do you want to stay here or do you want to go to Vrindavan?" I knew this was a trick question. So immediately I said, "Swami, I will go wherever Swami sends me, wherever it pleases Swami to send me." Swami is extremely happy, because in those days what had happened was, when we were students in Vrindavan, Swami would spend about 9 months in Vrindavan. And just for the festivals, he would go to Prashanti Nilayam and come. But by the time I finished my studies, this is 5-6 years, slowly Swami the Prashanti Nilayam College came into existence, and Swami started spending something like 6 months here and 6 months there. And because Swami would be there in Prashanti Nilayam for the festivals plus this extra time, many people felt that it would be going to Vrindavan means you would get less of Swami, in the sense that less of darshan and so on. But I knew that if Swami wanted to bless you, he could bless you anywhere. The main thing is to make oneself near and dear to Swami. So I said, Swami, of course, from the depths of my heart, I said, Swami, wherever it pleases you to keep me, I'll go there. Swami said, Bangaru, very happy. I'm writing a letter to Principal Narendra and the warden. You go and give it to them and join the college tomorrow. Start taking classes from tomorrow. It's a good day. And so there I was on the next day taking class in Vrindavan. Okay. And it happened that when I was joining, after I joined Vrindavan, there was a particular time when I felt that I needed to study more. One particular class, I remember, a pointed question by one of the students was something that I couldn't answer. I realized that my knowledge was not sufficient. I needed to learn more. So I told myself I should upgrade my knowledge, update my knowledge. And so I was just walking down when someone came running and said, Swami has come out for darshan. This was after the last lecture that I had that evening, and the college bell had rung. As I was walking towards Vrindavan, someone came and told me that, see, Swami has come out for darshan. So I went there, and straight away Swami walked up to me and asked, Ravi, would you like to do PhD? I was so taken aback. I said, yes, Swami, whatever you tell, I will do. Swami said, I know you will say like this. So I have already talked to the Vice Chancellor about it. Go and meet him. He's near the car shed. So I went and met Professor V.K. Gokak and introduced myself. And he said, yes, Bhagavan was speaking about you and saying that we could take you for research. And so that was the time. That is how I joined research. And in fact, Swami told me, tomorrow itself you resign from Vrindavan and go to Parthi. So I went to Parthi. And after going to Parthi, to Prashanti Nilayam, when Swami came there after a week, he told me, go and join the hostel and take up responsibilities. So very, very particular about this. He told you should take up responsibilities. So I went to the hostel, took up responsibilities, and after that instruction which Swami gave me, for the next 3 months, Swami did not talk to me at all. I was totally, there was so much work and I would come at the last minute. I would be just in time for darshan. But somehow it happened that Swami would not look at me at all. He would go up and down, but I was totally out of his radar, so it seemed. And one particular day, after Swami had not looked at me for a long time, I was going back to the hostel after bhajan. And I had this habit of going around the ground, what is now the Sathya Sai Hillview Stadium. It was not in this form at that time. It was in 2 different levels. I would just go around there just because it was, I loved the solitude and you could think of Swami and you could converse with Swami and so on. Means within your heart. So as I was walking, I complained to Swami that, Swami, you're not talking to me at all. In Vrindavan, Swami would invariably talk. Almost every day Swami would talk. Swami would have something to say. And rarely for 3-4 days Swami would not talk. But Swami would make it a point to say something, at least go and get this, or something he would say, or look or smile, or something would be there. But here, Prashanti Nilayam, I felt for the last few months Swami had not talked to me. And I wondered what had gone wrong. So as I walked, I shed some tears. I said, Swami, I'm feeling like I'm going far away from you. I don't know what has happened. I don't know what has gone wrong. But Swami, you alone know what has gone wrong. And I belong to you, so it is your duty to correct me. There are 1,000 mistakes I must be making. I'm not even able to identify. It is like a needle in a haystack. The mistakes that I must be committing are so huge that means in thought, word, and deed. With Swami, you have to have that at all levels. You have to have that purity, that commitment, that dedication. So I said, Swami, I don't know, but it's your duty to point out to me what is wrong, and you have to correct it. And I carried that feeling with me to my room, and I sat in front of Swami's photo and complained bitterly to him that he had become so busy that he did not have time for me, and so on and so forth. Lot of self-pity. The next day evening, as we were starting to go to the mandir, suddenly the warden came and said Swami wanted all the boys to come in a line as a group. He didn't want them to come individually. So, and he called me and said, Ravikumar sir, I would like you to take charge of this. I found that there was a spectrum of boys. They were the school boys. In those days, from 6th standard onwards, they were in the senior boys hostel, what is now the senior boys hostel. On the other hand, you had the postgraduate students and the PhD scholars and so on. So all of us were staying under the same roof. I found that the school boys had already got ready and they were restive, waiting to rush for darshan, whereas the postgraduate students were just returning from the college. Their lectures would have extended a little, practicals would have extended, and so they were coming, they had to have tea and then to go. So I decided that the school boys lines could leave. So the school boys lines left. And by the time I could gather all the other students and go and reach the mandir, I was at the fag end at the very end. When I went there, when I reached the mandir, I found that Swami had already given darshan and gone inside. And I felt even more bad. I said, one more darshan, one more day, and I have not even had Swami's darshan today. And I was sitting somewhere near the car shed. Suddenly someone came running and said, Ravikumar sir, Swami is calling you. So I went right to the front and Swami said, hey Ravi, who brought these lines today? I said, Swami, I only brought these lines. Why did the school boys come separately from the institute boys? Both of them are in the same hostel, right? I said, Swami, the school boys were already ready, whereas the PG students and all had come from the lectures a little late. Swami, I had to gather all of them and come. And then Swami said, from tomorrow onwards, get all of them together. And then he said, come, take Par Namaskar. So I knew that all these, he could have given this instruction to the warden, passed it on to the warden. But what he was doing was responding to my prayer the previous day. He was showing that you can never be far away from him. He is always close to us. We might be far away because we get drawn by the world, but the Lord is always with us wherever we are, and no prayer goes unanswered. Every single prayer, every single feeling in the heart is responded to by Swami. This was one of those beautiful experiences I remembered today morning, so I thought I will speak about it. I'll continue in the next Parayanam session. Sai Ram.